Hi, everyone. How are you? It's another week, and we're dealing, well, we're going to not deal with, we're talking about this coming readings for this weekend. And this is for October 5th for Sunday. And the basic theme that is coming through, that we hear through the gospel and through the readings, is the whole idea of faith. And trust is in there as well. And they're connected, they're sisters, I would say, um, or brothers. But it's not easy to do that. It's not easy to teach someone faith. It's not easy to teach someone trust. It's not those kinds of things you teach. They're important in the life of the disciple, which we hear about. It's definitely in this gospel for this coming week. But we have to start thinking, how do we take that? It's like such an intangible kind of a word. And how do we make that so we can explain it to those who are younger and uh, and even for ourselves sometimes? Before we get into that, I just want to talk about this gospel for a minute. And Jesus gives us the story about the mustard seed and said, if we only have the faith the size of a mustard seed, that's all we need. If you've ever seen a mustard seed, it's very, very small. So, I've over the years have kind of struggled with this, trying to really understand what Jesus is talking about. What do you mean by this? And then if you have that, he continues to say, you can move mountains. I'm like, really? Well, tell me, what is it you really mean, Jesus? And I don't think he means, as I've prayed about it and learned about it and read about it as the years have gone by, it's not so much you can move mountains, it's how much your faith can grow. All you need is the seed. And when we think of a regular seed, if you're going to grow a mustard seed, it's going to grow into a plant and to get mustard from, right? It has to be watered, it needs the sun, it needs, all those kinds of things that you would do to take care of a plant. Well, that's the same with us. You know, um, we have our people of faith, and our faith has to be nurtured, and it's nurtured by God. God created us, and God plants that seed of faith. We receive that seed of faith. When I think I when we're created or when we're baptized, whatever, but it's there. What do we do with it? Well, you come to realize that if I want faith, it's there. I have to have some responsibility in having it grow, but at the same time, I need help. Can't do this by myself because faith is a process. Trust is a process. And if it hasn't come, especially if it hasn't come easy to you before this, uh, we have to trust that process. It's trust again. Uh, when we look at the first beatitude, it's about blessed are the poor in spirit. And what that means is, God comes first in everything. And if you place God first with everything, in and if everything, then somehow your faith grows with it. And God, you have the sense of God kind of taking care of you, helping you to grow, helping you to mature and mature in the faith. So, we have to trust and we listen to that beatitude and we have to trust that our God is going to be there doing this for us. And we just stay, like-minded with him. Uh, as I said, faith needs to be nurtured. And the way we do that, uh, we get nurtured by scripture, reading scripture, by receiving the Eucharist, by being in a community where we can discuss these things with others who have the same faith-mindedness. And that's how our faith grows. And at least for me, that's the way it grows. And then you'd say to the children, you have to have this faith. How can they learn? Especially the young ones, even older ones, even us as adults. Sometimes, as I said before, it's hard to understand. The best way we can do that for them is teaching, not teaching like talking teaching, or it's by doing teaching and showing how you have faith and discussing and how you have trust. And they will learn that from you by you doing certain acts of kindness or where they feel you'll be there, they can depend on you, or share your little stories of faith and maybe the times that it was difficult for you to maybe believe, or that's part of the human condition too. uh, but what your faith has done for you and how being in a relationship with God has what that has done for you. So, faith and trust are hard. hard to sometimes really grasp at. Um, so when we also want to look at people of faith, this week we're really these next few weeks have a lot of people who've given us that example. Uh, People who are saints. And yesterday we celebrated the feasts of the archangels, Michael, Raphael, and Gabriel. And we have Saint Therese of Lisieux on the first. We have the holy angels on the second. We have Teresa of Avila on the 15th. So there's a lot. Saint Francis is on the fourth. So there's a lot of people. Saint Francis certainly was a person who lived that first beatitude, gave up everything, and to put God first. So they're interesting folks. You may want to bring them up in your lessons, have them either read about it, the older ones read about it, or the younger ones you could talk about it. I had the blessing last year of going to Lisieux in France and to be where Therese was, and it was very powerful. It was a very powerful experience. So, telling my kids all about it, and of course, in the pictures and where she lived, she's always been my one of my favorites. So if we can share these stories with our young ones and certainly help them and have them again look at the faith word for the week. And last week we talked about being introduced into the liturgy of the word, which certainly correlates with the way we do catechesis on a lectionary based way. So pray about your faith, that we all have it. That's my suggestion, and to trust if that's you need to do that. Uh, and sometimes we're put in this difficult situations, easier said than done. So sometimes we just need to pray for the grace to be able to see it and to be able to trust God and have faith in God and that God knows what God is doing. I wish you a great week. Uh, I wish you great times, with your grandchildren. I wish you, wherever you're living, if you're up in the Northeast or North and the leaves are changing, I wish you a great appreciation for the autumn season. Uh, so take care. Have a good week. God bless.